M and M. X-Files CCG YouTube community. I have emphasized the M and M for Mike and Matt. I have emphasized the S for Steven. And I have emphasized the C. Well, the C is for cookies, because cookies are good enough for me. Last night I began to reminisce. I began to think about the past. And more importantly, I thought about the future. A future which could have been, a future which should have been the furtherance of the X-Files Collectible Card Game. For you see, an image is worth 1,000 words, and 1,000 words are worth one image. A piece of art, graphic. And there should have been more art. There should have been more cards, more graphics to be done. Alas. And there was a name. Lynette Schmitt. You see, she held the future. She would have designed the cards and the packaging and the advertisements. If only there had been a future. Not that Lynette was without understanding, for she had designed some of the very things which we see today, things we hold dear concerning the art and the packages and the advertisements. You see, if we continued forward, she would have been at the center of the game. She knew secrets. She knew where the truths were hidden. But it's been lost. Lost now to time and to space. And so, Mike, Matt, Steven, and all those others who hold this YouTube channel to be true, seek out Lynette and cookies. And so, as custom for each of these videos, this video will self-destruct in 3, 2. Alas, parting is such sweet sorrow. 1.
Oh God, no.
Mike and Matt bringing back the mid to late 90s. Mike and Matt bringing back X-Files CCG.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Mike and Matt and Steven's X-Files CCG. What? You look a little frazzled back there, Steven. What? All your stuff's messed up, man. What happened?
Well, Mike, I got to tell you, I don't know how you and Matt survived as many of those secret agent messages from David May.
You didn't open it, did you?
Past years. Yeah, well, what? How do you think we got our guest today?
Oh, man, I should. You got to go outside, bro.
Now I know that, because I mean, after all, you have a new studio as a result of one of his earlier messages.
Oh yeah. Matt was happy to get rid of that couch, though, so it was sort of a win-win.
That was an arrow miss right there, but Dave May, you owe me an iPad, sir.
Wow, all right, man, you done got yourself blown up by David May. Wow, crazy.
As you saw from the teaser sequence, ladies and gentlemen, Dave May has put us once again on the trail of yet another former employee of United States Playing Card Company who was there at the time that the X-Files Collectible Card Game was in production.
Absolutely. So we also want to point out to you guys, in order to get this interview, some precautions had to be taken. Identities had to be kind of secured. And I think you'll kind of understand why as we get into this interview.
So as a precaution, we took the liberty of securing our guest in a safe house, and she is cloaked in shadows because we didn't want to give away any indication of where she might be as of this point. You know, she's basically in witness protection program for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we can't just go out there telling people she lives in Grand Rapids, Texas, Philadelphia. Sorry. Oh man. But yeah, because everybody would just go and want to harass her. So yeah, it's for her. It's for her own safety and protection. I think is what's best. Not Grand Rapids. Not Grand
exactly.
Rapids. Well, let's dive right into it, man. Who are we talking about today?
That is a great question. Our guest is a design manager with experience in print, web, packaging, social media, and digital promotions. From 1993 to 1998, she was a project manager and designer at United States Playing Card Company in Cincinnati when the X-Files CCG was in development. Her portfolio with respect to the X-Files Collectible Card Game includes such components as the resource and conspiracy tokens, the basic and advanced procedures manuals, the checklist, the playmat, the unreleased basic training kit, and get this, the packaging for the Mulder and Scully pewters. Nice. Alongside, yeah, I know, right? Alongside Mr. David May, she was one of the last people to work on the game when it was discontinued.
Wow. Yeah, in the 3 years following the game's cancellation, our guest went on to be the creative director of Journeyman Press, working alongside, as you know, David May, Brian Woodward, and the late Todd Rittenstein, to help design such collectible card games as, Scooby-Doo, the expandable card game, and the Age of Empires card game. Ladies and gentlemen, we give you Lynette Schmitt.
Thank you so much for joining us, Lynette. You came highly recommended by Mr. David May, and we know you've taken great pains to be here.
Thank you for contacting me about the X-Files CCG. Say hi to Dave May for me.
We'll certainly pass along your regards. In the meantime, though, tell us, how did you first become involved in the X-Files CCG project?
The project was worked on by various designers in the United States Playing Card Company's art department, including myself. We were all available to work on card revisions, sell sheets, logos, prototypes, and so forth.
Aside from the X-Files CCG, Scooby-Doo, and the Age of Empires, were there any other card game projects that you were involved in while you worked at USPCC and Journeyman Press?
The USPCC marketing and sales departments had multiple projects in the works. I was involved in quite a few things, such as Disney's A Bug's Life, Cartoon Network, Coca-Cola, Norman Rockwell, USPC Family Games, Tribal Games, what else? Scholastic Magic School Bus, Warner Brothers. Along with we had staff working on Harley Davidson, NASCAR, NFL football, Major League Baseball cards, and various casino brands.
So, Lynette, tell us, what late 90s software did you use back in designing these components?
We used Max with Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop software.
What do you recall was the most challenging aspect of being the project manager and designer of the X-Files Collectible Card Game project?
My memory is that the X-Files project was very intense with changes, deadlines, approvals, and busy with many visits and interactions from the marketing and salespeople who were located on site, if I recall.
So as we've heard in several interviews with the folks involved in the X-Files Collectible Card Game, the review process was quite a hurdle with respect to getting the proposed cards approved by Chris Carter, 1013 Productions, and other entities. Did you encounter similar issues with some of your prototype packaging or other product designs? And if so, can you share what some of those hurdles were?
Not personally, no. Approvals for the X-Files individual cards, the tuck cases, the prototypes were handled by other people. Dave May, probably. I prepared the files and revisions as needed.
We'll definitely need to talk to David May about this. In the meantime, tell us, what do you remember most fondly about your time working on the X-Files Collectible Card Game and the other card game projects?
One of my favorite projects was the Microsoft Age of Empires Expandable Card Game, produced by Journeyman Press. I enjoyed working with a creative, enthused group of people, including, as you know, David May and Brian Woodward, but also Jonathan Queen, Marcus D'Amelio, Ted Treble, Adrian Youngblood, and Kim Manifold. The game was developed from the Age of Empires computer game with each card uniquely illustrated. I think that the game developers were intending to use some image grabs from the computer game, similar to how they did with Scooby-Doo, taking them from the television. But the images were low resolution, probably 72 dpi, unusable for printing at 300. Multiple outside illustrators were sourced through an agent and selected to work on various cards that were first penciled in by Jonathan Queen. Many of the cards used staff as the models. The game was developed by Marcus and Ted. I was the design director and worked with them to develop the card designs, backgrounds, text, etc., etc., etc. The game was well reviewed in the US and in Europe and won Best Graphic Design of a Card Game finalist and Best New Collectible Card Game finalist at Origins 2001. We also completed the Age of Empires Nautical expansion.
It's funny you should mention that. I'm aware from my conversations with David May that this wasn't the only time in which the staff's likenesses were incorporated into the game's design. To keep it short, some of our viewers may be aware that there's a tile-based game called Zombies, ! By Twilight Creations. The first edition of Zombies was designed and produced by Journeyman Press by the dearly departed Todd Breitenstein, who again designed the Scooby-Doo ECG alongside Brian Woodward. And funnily enough, in that case, the Journeyman staff's likeness were used for the zombies themselves, including Mr. David May. And I'll throw a few images of Mr. May as a zombie up on the screen here. As you can see, he was dubbed the Zombie Master in one of these particular cards. And as you can also see, there's another one here in which Mr. David May is taking a fire axe to the head. Pretty funny stuff there.
I'll send you an image of the Age of Empires Bandits card, in which David May's likeness is featured.
As we discussed previously, Lynette, the X-Files CCG Basic Training Kit was one prototype that never made it to public eye when the game was axed. Do you recall any other prototypes like this that were in the final stages but never got released to market?
The X-Files future projects that I remember were the Quick Start Guide, Scully and Mulder Pewters in a box with a starter deck, and the individual card, I believe. In preparing for this interview, I looked back at some of the old files I still have. Well, there's a file listed as Box with Pewter Smoking Man, and a piece of paper in my files, which kind of jogged my memory of this.
Well, wait. Time out. Whoa. Are you telling us that a third pewter, one for Cancer Man, was also in the works?
Yes, my digital files have a pewter listed for the Cigarette Smoking Man X-Files card, along with Mulder and Scully, but the files are incomplete. The image you have here is one of the 3 black and white copies that I have in my files. I can't remember if we saw an actual pewter sample.
Wow! Ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing and hearing it for the first time. This is a Mike and Matt and Steven's X-Files CCG exclusive, and we cannot underscore the importance of this revelation. So I'll repeat it again with emphasis. A third pewter was in development when the game was canceled. A pewter of the Cigarette Smoking Man X-File card. Not an agent like Mulder and Scully, but one of the 41 X-File cards. This is amazing, people.
Since we're talking about the pewters, I thought you might like to see this one with the prototype packaging that I worked on. We made one for Mulder and Scully.
Wow! I can see why Dave May suggested we speak with you. I don't believe we've seen the packaging for the Scully pewter as of yet. Would you happen to have a photo of that?
I remember working on both packages, and that Scully's image was on the right side and the typeface was on the left side. I'll see if I can find an image to send you. I also have a memory of having a Scully pewter and we'll do a search in my files. I'm surprised that Mulder's prototype package is still holding up.
Yes, please. That'd be great.
Blown away, right?
Absolutely blown away.
Here's another item I found regarding the pewters. A fax cover sheet about the Scully, Mulder, and cigarette smoking man pewters. The fax is hard to read, but it's my handwriting addressed to Doug Wilson on August 20th of 97. It reads, "Hey Doug, did you miss us? R.E. the pewter kit. Are these the 3 cards needed for the kit? Are we going to print 10,000 each? And what about the autograph?"
Very interesting. And what was Doug's role in all of this?
Doug Wilson was in charge of us for a while and traveled in from the Canadian office every week. It appears that Doug Wilson was the person connected to the Pewter project.
So circling back to the image you shared with us, the one with the Robert Modell Pusher X-File card, that is something that most fans of the game have never seen, though our good friend Dax over in the UK has actually come into possession of the text for that card. Maybe some others, perhaps? That's for something for Dax to maybe unveil at some point in the future. But nevertheless, this card here is notable because it means that there were plans to make some additional X-File cards beyond the 41 released X-File cards that we had since premiere. What can you tell us about this card, Lynette?
That card is a color copy, hand-trimmed and listed in the rewrite files as a new card. Since it's taped with the Pewter card images, it's probably representing the entire rewrite project that Dave May proposed. That was probably the end of the X-Files, if the date of February 98 is any indication. That would be another question for David
May. Rewrite project?
Yeah, from my recent conversations with David May, he recalled being under a bit of pressure to simplify the game in order to get into stores geared towards younger audiences, like Toys R Us. That must be what you're referring to, right, Lynette?
Yes, I came across a file with 136 cards rewritten by David May in January 98, but canceled in February 98. Dave will probably remember the process. I'll email you boys some images showing a line art sample which I was able to open. I don't have the fonts loaded, so they are more accurate.
I want to make sure I understand what we're talking about here. These rewritten cards are what were planned for like a 3rd edition of the X-Files CCG?
Yeah, that tracks with what we've previously heard about the activators being replaced by phases in order to let players know when they're supposed to play certain cards.
So, Lynette, Stephen and I were talking to David May these past couple days about what he recollects, though, because 25 years has elapsed. He's a bit fuzzy on some of the specifics. By any chance, are you able to access and share the rewrite files with us?
The rewrite cards are text only and can be opened and saved as a PDF. Since they were never published, I'm not comfortable releasing them unless to David May, since he is the original customer and content creator.
We can definitely arrange for that.
Yes, we can. So, Lynette, in addition to the Mulder Pewter packaging image that you sent us, are there any other images of prototypes you wouldn't mind sharing with us?
Oh, my pleasure. I'll share the files with you on Dropbox. They'll have photos of various cell sheets and the quick start box cover and inside flat prototypes.
Thank you so much, Lynette. I especially like that cell sheet titled Top 5 Reasons to Buy the X-Files CCG 101361. That's got to be my favorite of these documents. It's very aesthetically pleasing, and I like the information imparted on it. Great stuff.
I'm glad you like it. I do too. The cell sheets with the X in the top left were made in Illustrator with Photoshop for any image edits. It does look like a template that we made and reused. What's interesting about the top 5 reasons cell sheet is that there was never a template for it. I created that and still remember tearing the strips of paper, laying out the cards and whatnot for the background photo, and then adding a layer of text.
Another one of these cell sheets that caught my attention was the ultra rare X-Files Opportunity, which I put up on the screen here. This cell sheet promotes a booster bonus box containing what appears to be 4 Premier boosters, 1 Truth booster, and 1 1013 booster. 6 boosters for the price of 5. But here's the real kicker. This bonkers. Each one of these bonus packs includes a guaranteed ultra rare from one of these 3 official sets. How? Yeah,
wow.
How?
Why did we not get to see that released back when you and I were in those comic shops, sifting through booster packs, trying to figure out which one of them might contain the ultra rare card? Where was this back then?
I don't know.
Right?
I got my first ultra rare card for free, so I don't know.
Yeah, but do you realize like a lot of us would have been able to complete our collections a lot easier if this concept had made it to market? So, Lynette, I have a question about this ultra rare cell sheet. As we can clearly glean from the picture, the prototype packaging existed at one point, and the cell sheet listed street date as August 1997, which is about 6 months before the game was discontinued. To your knowledge, Lynette, this bonus box never made it to market, right? Do you have any insight as to why we never saw those on the shelves?
You're right. The street date and printed cell sheet make it look like it was in the works. Maybe somebody from marketing or sales could answer that. I do remember working on the prototype, which looks very preliminary, but nothing after that.
Yeah, maybe we can check with Bob Marquise or Ronnie Noyes. I'd also like to run this by Dave Frank to see how the different ultra rares were intended to be distributed in these bonus boxes. Like, how frequently would we have seen a Deep Throat come up in these?
Yeah, this definitely would have been like maybe the only way we could pull a Deep Throat. I mean, they're just so hard to find. I mean, maybe this would have been our opportunity to finally get one.
Yeah, to have that joy of cracking open a Premier booster pack and actually having a Deep Throat card in there. Holy cow, that would have, how amazing that would have been.
You were talking about the distribution, talking to Dave Frank, and the thought came to my mind was they obviously screwed up Premier, but I mean, it was out. It was gone. It was into the world, and they realized they screwed up. So basically they destroyed it as much as they could, started making Truth. So if these ultra rare opportunity boxes showed up later on down the line, where the hell did they get the ultra rares from? Did they reprint more ultra rares?
Yeah, that is a great question. Like how they would have gone about getting those ultra rares specifically. My gut says it's probably that they were going to reprint them and then just repackage them in Premier packaging, I guess. But yeah, who knows? But again, that would be a great question for Dave Frank to clear up for us. So here's another interesting cell sheet you sent us, Lynette, and I'll put it up on the screen here for everyone to see. The Interoffice Communications Memo from Bob Marquise. What struck me about this one is the cards seen here at the bottom. They have the Gen Con graphics and fonts, but these, however, are not from the 60-card Gen Con decks, which were all basic gameplay cards. What we're looking at here, these cards all have the advanced X on them. Kevin Morris, the Overcoat Man, the Shotgun, and it looks like Access Personnel Files. This is mind-blowing, Mike. Yeah. Look at the activators on the Shotgun there. It says Field and Believer. The commercially released Shotgun, as we all know, just had a Bureau activator on it. So this is a stark contrast to the finalized version of the Shotgun card. I would probably, if you think about it, I would probably use the Shotgun more if it had a Field activator rather than just sell it for CP like I usually do, But yeah, this is weird. Even look at that. Even Mulder's Agent card has an advanced X on it. Isn't that crazy, man? And check this out. The prefixes of the Bureau file numbers don't begin with XF, but rather the card suit. As you can see, EQ for equipment, AG for agent, BL for bluff. This is really interesting, Lynette. Do you happen to recall if you designed that sheet using digital images, or was it like the Reasons to Buy 1013, where you had to stack the images on top of one another and photograph them?
I don't know who worked on that cell sheet, but Bob Marchese is listed on the back. You could send it to him and jog his memory. I just had one in my file as a reference. It looks like a very early item that probably predates the cell sheet with the paper torn design. It's not using the X-Files fonts, though. It looks like the cards, pencil, paper clips are all laid on the background papers for the photo. I don't know where the cards came from. Could be digital files that were printed and trimmed out. I also don't see a date anywhere. Yet another mystery.
Wow, this has been an extremely eye-opening conversation, Lynette. It was a pleasure to speak with one of the last persons involved in the game. We really learned a lot from you about the game, and we just hold the game so close to our hearts. You know, tell us, what was it like after the game ended?
After the X-Files CCG ended, we continued as usual, and never knew what caused the project to end. Your shows and interviews are answering those questions. Even though we weren't gamers in the art department, we were big fans of the X-Files TV series and always talked about them the next day. I went on to work with two great guys, Dave May and Brian Woodward, when Journeyman Press began, and I'm especially proud of the design award for the Age of Empires CCG.
Well deserved, Lynette. I've seen some of the artwork for those Age of Empire cards, and it is impeccable.
I came across an original box labeled Field Operative Demo Kit with X-Files materials. A t-shirt, the dangle, the 1013 poster, and a pair of starter decks. I'll gladly send it to you if you're interested.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Lynette.
You're very welcome. Your show has gotten me to look through my old files, which has been fun. So, thank you for that.
Lynette, thank you so much for taking the time to indulge our just love and appreciation of the game. We really appreciate it.
Yes, I can't echo the sentiment enough. And if it's possible, I would love to reach out to you with further questions as they come up, because no doubt our X-Files CCG community, their minds are going to be as blown away by this information as ours have been, and they're going to have lots of questions for us. So please, I'll be in touch with you undoubtedly in the near future with some follow-up questions regarding this very, very eye-opening interview.
Indeed. Well, it's been another great one, Stephen. Right? You want to?
This is a big one, Mike. I mean, wow, we've had a lot of really good interviews in the past, but this one is certainly taking us down some new avenues of investigation. We got a lot we need to look into now regarding, the possibility of whether or not this third Smoking Man pewter card had ever actually been made, and is the packaging anywhere out there? And holy cow, we got these rewrite cards. We're talking 136 rewritten cards, my friend.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, that was always the intention, to kind of simplify it and actually have them when we didn't even think that they existed anymore. It's just mind-boggling. So, yeah, it's been amazing, man.
We're going to have to do a follow-up episode in which we go through some of these rewritten cards as soon as Lynette has passed them along to David May. And, of course, we got to get David May on here to take us through some of the thought processes, at least as he recalls. I know it's been 25 years since he wrote these, but it'd be interesting for him to just take us through what he was thinking and some of the the ideas and really just the place in which the game was at that point.
Well, I'll leave you guys with one very important piece of information, a message, a plea, if you will, for all of our sake. Please, if you get something in the email via David May, open it outside.
But right now I need to crack open a few more windows and get this smoke out of here. Good Lord, it's getting a little bit stuffy in here, and I'm feeling a little bit lightheaded.
All right. Well, on that note, why don't you go get some fresh air, and we'll see you guys next time on Mike and Matt and Steven's X-Files CCG.